friends, welcome back to our next video on Microsoft Purview security. So in our last video we have seen how we can create in the sensitivity identifiers using in the Microsoft Purview portal. Now let's further proceed in defining in how these sensitivity identifiers can be used for validating our data sets across the workloads, and how these classifiers can be used for identifying if there is any sensitive data in our organization's data set. So here we'll go back to our trainable classifiers. So in our last video we talked about the sensitive info types. Today we'll talk about the trainable classifiers. What are trainable classifiers? These are predefined, offered out of box Microsoft data centers hosted machine learning models which are provided to identify data in different workspaces, different environments across your organization for identifying if the data classifies to any of these inbuilt classifiers. These classifiers are supported for multiple languages, wherein you have the major support of all the European Union and the English language. Then the type, there are two types here. One is the built-in and second is the custom. Built-in are the types that are supported out of box by Microsoft, and custom are those which are created by you or your organization's developer team who could have created a machine learning model and which you have used in on here. But if we are using in our organization based ML models, then there will be some more integrations relevant to the AML workspace and all. So that is not what we are going to discuss on here. Here I'll show you like how you can create in a trainable classifier that will be utilizing in 50 to 500 sample data sets, and on the basis of those 50 to 500 sample data sets it will classify if the data set belongs to a category of a particular information type or it does not belongs to it. So here we'll click on this trainable classifier, we'll give it a name, so I'll call it up as CloudArc, and we'll give this the data name as SI, and the data segment we will keep it up to say production, and description classifier for production data sets. Okay, see the difference between a sensitive info identifier and the trainable classifier is that in case of trainable classifier, like here if you read on this screen, it says that you need to have 50 to 500 samples of positive and negative data, which means you need to provide information about a SharePoint site where you have 500 samples, 50 to 500 samples of data that identify if it matches, it would be referred up as classified information, and another sample of 50 to 500, if that matches, it would not be identified up as a classified information. So here I'm going to give in the reference of one of my SharePoint URLs where I'm having in multiple, so I'll just simply select in one where I'm expecting to have the positive data sets, and another I'm going to set up where I have in the negative data set, and then we'll move on further. So first option, you set the two positive sites where you have in the data if match will be identified up as a sensitive information, whereas the second one here we are going to select in those sites if the data is found in here we will identify that this is not sensitive. So you just created a classifier. Now this classification will be handled by the Microsoft's proprietary machine learning models which are running on the Microsoft hosted data centers, and they will be identified up as classified or non-classified data. So all we did here is we have just created in a custom identifier where I have given in two positive data sets, two sets of SharePoint sites that are having positive information that matches. If it matches, will be referred up as the classified data, and the other set, if that matches, will be identified up as non-classified data. Okay, thank you so much, friends. We'll meet up again in another video where we will talk about how we can use in the sensitive info type and the trainable classifiers to create the labels, then define the automatic labeling policies, and we'll refer it in our workloads in our M365 applications to identify how that is going to make the data identified up as classified. Okay, thank you. See you again.